Yespixel, episode 23 with our guest, NeskRP. Today's episode is being sponsored by sleeves. Put sleeves on your shirt. I don't have any. I look ridiculous. Sleeves. You want them. Also, they go on Starbucks cups or other cups. Starbucks not a sponsor yet. Yep. Nesk, how's it going, man? How are you?
I'm okay.
Nice.
That's it.
He's
that's
okay.
It. I'm okay.
So this
What
is
do you want me to say,
this is the first
Dude, you
episode
made
we've
it.
had back since the new year.
You're on the Yespixel podcast. You did it.
You did it, man. You made it. Yeah, so we took Trump's birthday off, right? That was fun.
I was drunk.
He was drunk. How was the birthday? Did you enjoy it?
It was good. It was good. It was a lot of fun. It's good. I felt pretty good the next day. Definitely not good enough, but that's when the spiral of becoming sick started.
Oh no. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. A lot has happened since the last episode. You know, you miss 1 week and look what happens. But the good news is now we're gonna be every episode's gonna come out the week that it records. So we're recording on Sunday. This episode will come out on Wednesday. So there won't be a 2-week gap in between like a bunch of stuff happening. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn my fan off.
You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It's time.
Wow.
Epic rap battles featuring 52 Chains and Nesk.
Pass.
Wait, what?
Rap battles? Oh,
I've
he said-
I've got something to announce as well.
What's up?
It was my birthday. It was my birthday, but I did get a new haircut. I lost the.
What do you mean you got a haircut? You got them all cut. What the
bro,
hell?
Look at it. Yo. Looking
I
good,
look
man.
like I look like a jarhead in the Marines.
You look good.
I think it looks good. It's got some
It's
shade
nice,
to
man.
it.
Yeah. It makes your face look
Yeah.
You ever thought
longer.
about getting a flat top? Dude, a flat top in
Yeah.
2023 would be fly as fuck.
It would.
If you got a flat top, Troms,
I wish.
that'd be
I don't got the
sick.
hair
Could you
for it.
imagine?
My hair's like,
Get gel it.
I have a lot of hair, but it's thin hair. And
Is
so
it?
like my hair just flops, yeah.
Yeah, I have a
I'm
lot
not
of
as
hair,
sexy as 52.
and it's like medium. Not like thin, and it's not super thick either.
Dude, look at
Um,
this man. He's admiring himself.
so
He looks so
beautiful. He's
good. What the
gorgeous.
hell?
Admiring him,
So a lot's happened
Yeah.
in the last couple of weeks. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about Nesk. Nesk, why don't you introduce yourself? Talk about the characters you have on the server, and then we'll ask you some questions.
All right. I have a few. I have my main one now. It's my self-insert. It's Scott Boulderman. He's a lawyer. The son of
You
Bobby
play
Boulderman.
Scott Boulderman?
Oh wait, you didn't
I
know
didn't know
that?
I haven't met him long enough to figure it out.
I
I've
didn't know
only
you were
heard
a lawyer.
about him. That's cool.
You should wait. Are
So
you,
is he addicted to Mountain Dews also, or since he's a self-insert?
He's on his third Mountain Dew, and he's only been in the call for 30, 45 minutes now.
It's
Oh,
not.
God.
It's true.
Does your
Yes.
piss come out green
Yes.
at that point? Jesus.
So
Carbonated.
I have another character named Oye Pingafria, which is Osvaldo's father.
That's a good name. Oh yay, that's good. That's
Oh,
very
yeah.
good.
Yeah. And then I have a cop, Harvey Holden. Wasn't the first cop that I wanted. I actually had a cop hopeful before that. His name was Oliver Crawford. Before he fell off and got elbozoed and then ratioed and then ripped as well.
Wait, okay, so
By
hold on.
who?
Hold on. Let's back it up. Let's talk about the old cop, not Harvey. So he was a DOC, right?
Yeah, in November, sometime in November, I got my
November
whitelist
of what
accepted.
year?
I don't fucking know. The last November, not this November, the one before it.
November
Whatever year that
2022.
was. 2021.
Okay, but the last November was November 2022.
The last November before this one, so 2021.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so in that November, I got whitelisted, and I've been playing on the public server for like a couple months, and I was like, "Damn, I really want to do DOC. There's no DOC in public." So I got whitelisted, and then immediately beelined for the prison. To which I got a DOC application from uh, I can't remember. And then accepted like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
Uh, and then yeah, it was a good time. I made the character have a trait of his reaction thing was either 0 or 100. So I either didn't react to things at all, or I overreacted to literally everything. Which
Oh my god.
bad character trait if you want a cop
Or anyone to like you.
or anyone to like you.
Yeah, that's a choice. That's a choice. So you heard it here first, folks. Have some nuance in your characters. That's it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I've since learned actually doing place RP that this character would not fly on the streets that well. And
So how come he didn't end up being your cop character? I mean, fortunately for all of us, but how come?
Say it. Say the
So,
truth.
I'm
Be
I'm airing it out.
honest.
I'm being honest.
Sound nervous. Are you
So
nervous?
I know I'm trying to recollect things in the right order. It's
Okay.
been so long. Uh, on a fateful day in February or 6th or the 9th, I can't remember. I was coming in the middle of my lunch break, my actual like
IRL.
IRL lunch break, to have a meeting with two COs that were from the shift 1 hours about why I don't something with strike points, right? I was Crawford was a senior at the time. And I pulled one aside, talked for about 30 minutes. And I pulled the other one aside. And when I pulled this one aside, he was guarding a door of a inmate on a hotel trial, I think, was talking to their lawyer. And I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong going to happen. They can stand in there and talk. I mean, it's not like a inmate would kill their lawyer, right? Have that conversation. We get a Stubble comes up on channel 5 and he's like, dude, you see that 911 about the person being killed in the lawyer room?
Oh
We're
my
going
god.
we're going breaching. There's like this cool like serial killer puzzle set up with like this cool like site that they had set up. It was pretty cool. It was a good serial killer scene. But yeah, the victim was the assistant district attorney.
Oops.
And so someone had to pay for it. And obviously someone who's already in there looking for like a life sentence already, they're already caught, is probably not the target. So they went after Crawford for reckless endangerment, and it went to the docket instead for almost 60 days. At this time, too, the since I did this in the middle of shift 1, which is not my hours, and some of the witnesses were from shift 2, which is also kind of my hours, and I was consistently on a shift 3 schedule. It could never get scheduled, and no one ever picked up for like 49 days, and then once it was finally picked up, then it was just dropped eventually. But the whole time during this, all my certs were frozen, promotions were frozen, all of it was frozen. It was just a waiting game of like
Mhm.
waiting for this thing to be over to either find guilty or not guilty or what, this, that, and the third. And because of the way the DOG works with court, it took forever. And I didn't learn this until after I'd already quit DOC for the first time. But apparently that was the reason that Crawford was blacklisted from PD.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and I didn't learn this until after I had actually fully quit, was that Crawford was blacklisted from PD because of the lawyer dying there.
Wait, so can you explain? I'm a little. I guess I don't understand. You asked somebody to leave a post, and they did, and then you got in trouble because someone died.
Yes.
Okay. So was this like a high risk person that this person was guarding? Did they know that like something bad might happen?
Nobody knew. Nobody knew. Like they were like we get informed like if someone's being sent up for what reason, serial killers, right? Why not? But we only get informed that once. We don't get informed that when they wake up like months later. After like old DOC have moved down to PD and new people are hired. Like we don't get little pings that say, this serial killer that is known to kill people has woken up and is requesting a lawyer. Just like
So an inmate woke up, a lifer, right? And
then, yeah,
they
wasn't a lifer, but
asked to speak to a lawyer. So not even a lifer, just an inmate asked to speak to a lifer. The lifer spoke to their lawyer. You're supposed to give them privacy, right?
yeah.
Somebody was standing nearby. You asked them to leave. They did. And then the inmate kills the lawyer. And then you get turbo fucked for it. Does that sound about right?
That's not even that was the thing that happened, but that was like the least of this character's. Like I think I got the shit on his stick. It's actually I took a couple highlights from my VODs after the fact of things I wanted to make sure wouldn't get lost in Twitch's like recycling.
Sure.
And one of them is the very last moment when Crawford was dead. There is a person that comes in to visit named Jessie Kane. And she gave some sort of monologue, and something in there she said it was sort of like exactly everything what this character is. You were dealt the worst cards, but you still played them even though you know you would lose.
Whoa.
Deep. So wait, so then you permaned your character after I guess you found out you were blacklisted?
No.
So
Not in that order.
How did Crawford die?
So in the month of April, yeah. April 1st, or I guess the week before that. I ran for warden or deputy warden because it was Kai was being moved up to warden at the time, with no intention that or no like expectation that I was gonna win. Spoiler: I won.
Okay.
And then I took a whole week off. It was a coincidence I was taking a week off. I had a planned vacation from work, just not to like go anywhere, but like just to chill and not think about like, obligations I have to do IRL. And it lined up with the same time of getting deputy warden, and I shit you not, 16-hour days of high command shit.
That's a lot.
16 1-hour days?
16
1-hour days.
16-hour days a day.
16-hour days, 16 1-hour days.
I don't know why that tickled me so much, Drops.
He's putting in the work.
I've got a question about the warden. Is it easy to like how loosely how strict is it? Like can you role play freely? Can you do like quote unquote corrupt things and get away with it if you don't get caught?
Corruption's always been a weird one because it's it's written down that you can do it, but also don't be surprised if you get fucked. But it's also one of the things you have to be like, you have to leave breadcrumbs and you have to like, not abuse the
I can tell you, if you're doing corruption RP, don't leave breadcrumbs, and probably turn your stream off. That's my advice.
So
it's fine as long as you're not like abusing the whitelist to do it. But as for the warden stuff, if you're like a captain, you're not high command, probably yeah. But the warden stuff, it's more like a out of character position because you're and you end up you're like the game master of the RP that goes in prison. You are setting up the guidelines for everyone to facilitate the RP there. And that is why I respect like Bass, because I know he's in that position where he has to make sure it's good between crims and cops.
yeah, I feel like I feel like I don't know. I feel like being a warden, you should have more freedoms because you can't get too powerful because you're restricted to an area, right? and that's your domain. And people who come into that area, they're not gonna stay there forever unless they're a lifer. Actually, now that I think about it, lifers they could mold out if a warden was
Yeah,
shitting
but
on every day.
lifers don't have
But if
rights,
it's-
so who cares?
Well,
If-
I can give you a rundown of how the wardenship was for me because I was only a warden for 3 weeks. No, deputy warden. So I got it. Much kind of reminds me a bit about like Den and Malton, to be honest, because Malton is the experienced one, and Den's like he jumped from senior to assistant chief. And Knight had been warden or deputy warden for a while, and I had went from senior to deputy warden. So it's actually a really good combo. But yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of like you have to make the balance yourself. You have to make the balance so that everyone's enjoying it. Because if you set it up where random flips every day, like then there's no counter like balance. Like there's no.
Yeah, you got to think
private-
about because lifers only have so much they can do, and if you're just like, you could really screw them over, which I think might be interesting RP if you then allow them to sort of lash out later, and you don't like military perfect lock it down. You know,
Oh,
yes.
the entire time of being deputy warden was locked down, but it was like to put in perspective. The lifers had this whole uprising, not like the previous one that happened where it was like the war that happened. It was like this whole thing where they had like DOC hostage and they were like all the warden, the deputy warden, and captain need to resign or we kill them all. And the PD got
well, they
involved
really
with
didn't like you. Like, well, we can't just ask the deputy warden to leave. So who should we ask to make it sound like we're not just targeting?
You know, one thing I don't want, like hardcore servers, we're looking forward to it. One thing I don't want to happen is where people think their roleplay as COP is a different story. COP
Yeah.
is COP, but I feel like you can being a warden, being DLC, you can be more flexible with it. I don't want people to hop on their DLC characters and think of SOPs and be like, I can't do this, I can't do this, and that be that's what compasses the entire roleplay. There's no creativity around it.
I think
Like-
one DOC actually operates without even looking at the SOPs, and I think he has a really good time because he's also like responsible with it. I think that's Gary Kebin, played by Afro. I think I've heard he just does whatever and it works out for him.
Yeah,
I
but
ran
it's also
into-
Afro, so he can kind of do whatever he wants, right? To an extent.
Yeah.
I have a clip I want to show with two wardens. Two correctional officers
Mhm.
who. So I got sent to prison, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. It was
On
contempt.
Carmine, right?
Dude, this is funny.
Yeah, on Carmine. Contempt. Contempt
So-
in court. So 110 months. I went to
My
prison for
POV
it.
of this was really good because we had just caught Eugene, and I get on channel 5 and I'm like, all right, we're sending Eugene up like 100 months or something like that. He's got 3 warrants. And then they're like, okay, cool. And literally as I finish saying it, Logan, the other cop, gets on radio and says, we're sending Carmine up for 110 months for contempt of court. And I go, wait, we just sent Eugene. This is, oh God.
Oh no. That's so good.
Oh my.
All
Like
right.
after this little bit of role play, I noticed that in Bolingbrook, if everybody goes into it with the mindset of saying yes to shit, they don't always have to say yes to it. But if people say yes to shit and are willing to facilitate role play, it could be amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna show you guys I don't know if it's a small, like 2 minutes role play encounter between me and Eugene. It's pretty interesting.
Let's get it. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
It's got some wait. It's got some music in it. DMCA, it might be DMCA.
Yeah, it probably is. I can. Yeah, I don't. All right, just mute it and then narrate it.
No, but that's the whole point of it is because
That's funny.
it was
Well,
so good.
maybe this is a good lesson for you to stop playing DMCA music on your stupid stream, dummy.
I'll teach you how to split your audio.
Yeah, I mean, we could play it and you could edit it out. So
It took me 3 hours to get the other video edited because of how long it took, because they're so gigantic files.
All right. Let's. Well, anyway, I'll add the link. We can add the URL.
Yeah. We can let other people watch it. Do you want to just like mute it and then skim through and kind of talk to us about what happened?
Oh yes. Okay, let's do that then. I guess. Oh wait. Hydra. What if you mute it? You mute the sound from the audio so everyone else can hear it, and then I'll narrate it. I'll narrate over it too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can think. Yeah, I think it's muted. Go ahead.
So basically, I went to Bolingbrook. Eugene went to Bolingbrook too. I got jumped the first 5 minutes in there.
Of course.
Like instantly.
You're still in your
Like,
cop
"Hey,
uniform.
Karma." The worst part about it is DOC set me up.
I mean, if you're a DOC and you know Carmine's coming up, you definitely tell the other prisoners, right?
So they come upstairs. Everyone knows I'm in prison because somebody told them. And they lock the door. I start talking shit because the door's locked.
Eugene. Is that Kirk Jerkins? Who is that?
I'm not too sure. I don't know which DOC guard it was.
Mountain Dew number 4. What are they saying?
It
What do you
opens it, and that's it. It's a
Oh
wrap.
no. Game over. Oh god. Eugene
Wait, I go
immediately starts
down.
punching him.
I go down almost instantly. Then I talk to and usually, like most DOC guards I run into, if I approach them with this, it's usually no SOPs. We're scared. We're not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
But these two guys said yes.
Oh
They
yeah.
said yes to the role play. I paid them $25K for this. Hopefully, no one sees this in DOC.
High command, listen up. Okay,
circles.
here are your targets. Okay,
God, no, don't get them booted.
you guys are fucking.
DOC High Command can't VOD review.
Oh, they can.
But
They can't.
there's no
Can't.
rule. There's no rule against podcast reviews. So
True. And this whole section of the map is so scuffed, man. Like if you go up here, yeah, and people don't see you go up there, then you're invisible.
perfect. That's the power gaming spot. Light them up from up there. Wait, what are these rooms with like the doors? I've never seen this part of the prison before.
Solitary rooms.
Oh, that's awesome. Eugene's down there. You gonna execute him?
It's pretty
Are
good.
you giving him like a speech right now? You're like Eugene. I've hated you ever since the day you were born, which was like 1,000 years ago because you're so old. Honestly, since we know Eugene will get baited by being called old as cops, why don't we just call him old every time we see him for a free, easy arrest?
True, but they'll just drive by you and hey wrangle you.
You gotta narrate 52. We're just dead silence.
Oh, okay. You know what? Monologue me saying you're a bad person. You should change quick, and I'm gonna make you change good quick. It's just an excuse to beat his ass.
Mm-hmm. And then the DOC guards start beating the shit out of him with billy clubs. Holy fuck!
Cause he's cuffed, it's scuffed. So he's not even taking any damage.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, that was pretty much it. And he gets beat up, and then I FA quit because
So you don't have to get any consequences. Perfect.
Exactly, smart, right?
10.
But yeah,
That's a
that type
1000 IQ.
as brief as it was, that small little yes DOC said to me there, it's made me want to go back to prison. Because last time I went to prison, the first time I went to prison on Carmine, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for me. I went there, got jumped like 10 times. DOC helped the prisoners jump me, and it was just I don't know. I didn't enjoy it, but
What
yeah.
You don't know
timing?
why most of them say no?
Why?
A lot of them want to be cops, and they've seen the previous dudes who say yes get fucked trying to get into PD.
Well, yeah, I mean, why would you try to roleplay on a roleplay server? Like, think about it.
That leads up to my question. How did you? What's the process of getting blacklisted look like? Like, what did you get? Like
So the character got blacklisted because he was perceived to be incompetent because the ADA died. And then the Warden stuff didn't help because it was constant war, like all the time. Just this constant like PD coming up because they keep saying, "Oh, the Wardens are corrupt or whatever," right? Like I said, I was doing 16-hour days, and then at one point I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then I quit, and then and then I found out like a day later that he was blacklisted the whole time. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll just make a new character. But I was given the idea to put an epilogue to Crawford. So the next month, I try to get as many people involved as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with Impulse calling Hardcastle from a payphone. And with a voice changer. And then I started like I was looking for him, just like scare him. I was gonna do some slow burn stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I actually saw him and I followed him, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this is actually okay. I'm actually doing this, right?" I've never done any sort of crim stuff before, at least on the whitelist server.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fucking crashed out on the bike, and he he found the blood, and then called. Or when I called him again, he's like, "Oh, nice crash out on your bike you did. I bet you got some blood here. I wonder if I can go find it." And then that's what started that started doing all the like the serial killer stuff.
That's funny. You just immediately fuck up. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did that for a couple weeks. I was like just going after like people who had went after him, like Hardcastle and Minerva and a few others. Gable was involved in the initial like the lawyer thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him on the street, and I was like, and I went up to him. I had a Molotov in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, I was trying to talk to him. I was like, "Hey, you don't really think that I'm caused this person to die?" He was like, trying to butter me up. He was like, "No, no, uh, I didn't think you did anything wrong." And then I said, I can't remember what I said, but then I threw the Molotov at him, missed both Molotovs. He fucking domes me. It even says in the report, it was like Gable dodged the Molotov all sexily like. Yeah, it was a good time.
I mean, if anybody would dodge Molotov sexy, it's Gable. We all know it. A beautiful bowl cut.
But yeah, no, I always intended to. I wanted to perma Crawford to Minerva, because she kept saying she kept coming to prison saying, "If you fucking harm people close to me, I'm gonna kill you, and no one will find the body." So I was like, I want to play with fire here, but I never played out because of the time zones and schedules.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I didn't mention this, but this is also like a huge thing of me making an epilogue to this character instead of just shelving it. I paid for Prio just to do the whole arc.
Huh. This is all recent. This is all pretty recent.
It was in.
Paid Prio's not been around for that long, right?
It's been around for so it was April. When comes after April? May. Yes, this was all in May. And yeah, I paid for Prio just to do this because like there's no way I'm gonna be around constantly because the queue and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't have the DOC queue anymore, obviously, to facilitate that. So when this is actually kind of a very nice poetic thing here. When I was doing Warden stuff with Crawford, I had a Jenny, like a Jenny Hall. It wasn't the captain or the Warden. It was just a regular CO named Michael Robinson.
Oh, I know. I remember that guy.
Yeah. One of my attacks was led to a perma, and that was Michael Robinson.
You killed Michael Robinson? You motherfucker. He was so competent. You son of a bitch. You know what? You're kicking you off the podcast.
He killed his own Jenny. That's crazy.
Why would you kill your Jenny? Any character's Jenny is so important. You gotta have somebody to balance you out.
So the entire Crawford story from the very beginning, Michael Robinson had always been a consistent. Like everyone hated Crawford. Michael Robinson actually supported and helped him. That's what made it so great in the end.
And then
you
you
killed
decided
him.
to kill him. The one
You
person who
killed
was on your side. You're like, that's what you get for having a heart, you fucking idiot.
No, we both quit DOC at the same time. After I fed up with it, he was fed up with it. We both quit at the same time.
Mhm.
After some various attacks, there was one day I was playing off stream, and he rang up the phone, and we were driving around, and went to City Hall, completely normal. Ran into somebody, he was shit talking them. I was helping shit talk him. It was classic Crawford Robinson stuff. And then he completely 180s, and he says something like he's purposely trying to bait Crawford into doing it because he wanted to perma. Obviously, I didn't notice at the time, so I was just like going along with what my character would do. And he's like, "You need me more than I need you," and he's like, "I've always, you are always, you fucked up, I taught you better, like mentor shit, right?" He was a mentor,
Mhm.
uh, and he just kept like trying to push it into Crawford stabbing him, and then I actually did it, and then I realized at that moment he was permaing, so I slapped my stream on. And that was the best decision I made because oh my god, that is still my highest like viewer count day because I got like all these raids from Occam's and Chris Tombstone.
That's funny.
But there was a viewer that said something. I think it was Mr. Time that said something in my chat like this feels like a movie because it really did feel like a movie. I was evading cops on a Pro 3 bike.
Dude, those things go like 50 miles an hour. They're fast
They
as
are
fuck.
They're really good. They are really good. People underestimate
You
them.
can't hop on them, but whatever.
But no, then got the 9s from that. And then so I had this decision to perma after the conclusion of the court case for the deputy warden stuff because there was some charges on all the wardens and the captain. And a decision was once that was concluded, I would perma to the next thing. Then we dropped the charges. So I was like, okay, that's it. I was like, this is it. This is the one lifetime now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I intended to do another attack, and I was like, this is probably going to get him killed. So I put on a stream that was like the end, a little clickbaity.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jessica Williams, who was a CO at the time, now is a CPD cadet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably full peacekeeper now. I'm not sure. It was gonna be Aaron. Actually, it was something I was like arguing with Aaron Carter, who's also at LSPD.
Yeah. So what ended up happening?
It was gonna be Aaron, but I couldn't find the right time, and I wanted Kai to be around because I was trying to make sure people were around. I kind of wanted people to be around for it to be like impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he was like a degen and wasn't awake. So I was like, I can't attack Aaron because then Kai won't. Kai needs to be around to shoot him, right? To make it more meaningful. So when Jess came around, I was like, all right, I'll just. I see Castle is on duty. I'm gonna do it. Stabbed her in the neck, and she still has that scar to this day. Like she keeps it permanently because it's part of the character. And Castle shoots him down from the catwalks. Funnily enough, while I was already planning to perma from whatever happened that day, I saw the clip later. Aaron had called Hayes and said Crawford's critical because Hayes was doing the serial assaults and killings investigation, and Hayes says something like, "Wouldn't it just be convenient if he just died?"
That's great. Yeah, 52's talked a lot about this. You were like, oh, I was waiting for this person to be around, and I wanted it to do it this way. 52 always says, don't let your roleplay rely on other people. The moment your roleplay relies on other people is when you start making dumb decisions because you're waiting for that person to be around. You get bored. You start doing dumb shit. So yeah, that's.
God, you're citing me here like Proverbs or.
Dude, I'm telling you, my eyes are opening to the 52 Chains roleplay Bible, man. Dude, your takes are so good. They're like timeless.
Maybe I should just write a book or something. I
Like
guess.
Ninja. How to
Yeah,
RP.
About you. Have you guys seen Ninja's streaming thing? His streaming guide.
That's
and
what I was
how it's
referencing, yeah.
It's
30
follow
seconds
for
ago.
follow and shit.
Does he
He's
say
so
to do
out of
follow for
touch.
follow?
Yeah, he does.
What?
Like, as in
The thing that classically does
transactions.
not work?
What the
Yeah.
hell? Yeah, it does, dude. I followed 18,000 people,
I mean, it's
all
Ninja,
of
right?
which agreed to follow me back.
It's Ninja, right? He must be right. I mean, you can't be that successful and be wrong, right?
Did he really say to follow for follow? That's so
Yeah,
funny, dude.
I was watching a YouTube video about it.
That is so funny. Oh
But yeah,
my
here's
god.
my takeaway from all of it is doing that whole month of an epilogue and like involving as many cops as possible and like just going off the deep end is probably the reason why I have a cop character. Because Hardcastle was like, or not Hardcastle, By the Beard was like, I love the shit you're doing. Are you trying to go for like a, like a redemption arc? Or are you gonna make a new cop character? And I ended up making a new one, and I'm pretty sure that's probably why he was hired out of everyone else who's
Right on.
applied.
Oh yeah, man. It's always nice when your roleplay pays off, right? When you do some good shit, you kind of like close the chapter, but somebody else noticed it and they're like, I'm gonna give this guy a shot. That's always nice. That's a good feeling.
It makes it worthwhile, yeah. That's another thing that builds anxiety in people, trying to, be performative in front of certain people that could provide them with opportunities. And that's just how the server is. I did it, you did it, we all did it, and sometimes and another thing I've noticed is when you do that shit and it doesn't pay off, it
Feels
eats
so
at you.
bad. It feels so bad.
Yeah.
Especially if they if they who you or like what the fuck are you doing? You're
The
just
who's I don't really care too much about the who's. The ones I care about are when you get fucking don't when you get blacklisted.
Yeah.
When you get like cut out or because of some small shit that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
no,
wanna-
the amount of like blacklist I had to go through because the initial lawyer thing that was the blacklist from LSPD and PVSO.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And then what I did was, it's kind of funny now considering the first choice was LSPD and then I ended up making a new one for Crawford for SDSO, but for different reasons. Crawford applied to the SDSO because Serge Cross was the only person to actually believe him when he was like, "Hey, I didn't cause this assistant district attorney to die." But what's funny is, like I said, I didn't know about the Black later. I also didn't know that the person, Serge Cross, who was trying to help Crawford, also went up to Charity and said, "Never hire this man."
Huh. Nice.
I mean, that's what I mean.
I really
don't know
hate
why
when people do that. I don't know why.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's I don't want to say anything on that.
No,
It's
say
just
it.
weird.
Say it. Give us a good
I don't
take.
know if it's like denying someone opportunities on an OOC level when you go to other departments and say don't hire him.
Yeah.
Especially
You would
if
have you would have to be like a very very petty person who doesn't.
He
really
wasn't
care.
wrong though.
Okay. All right. Go on. I'm listening.
The character was not meant for PD like at all.
But not ever.
Crawford.
That's the thing, though, right? Not ever. You could change and start doing good, but now because somebody has said don't ever hire this person, doesn't matter what you do, you're never going to have that opportunity, most likely. Right? Do you think it's fair to be permanently outed from a thing because of a roleplay decision you made 10 months ago?
I don't think it would be permanent. I think if I had put the effort, like how Beard said, you're going to try to go for redemption arc, I probably would have gotten Crawford into PD. But I'm actually happier it was this way.
Yeah,
I've got
we're
a
much happier
question.
with the actual self-insert of Harvey Holden.
He's not a self-earned. Scott Bolderman is.
I've got a question. Which department did you prefer on? Actually, let's talk about Harvey now. Tell us
yeah.
about
Crawford's
his
dead.
beginnings.
I made him in March when I kind of suspected that Crawford wasn't going to work out. I had him made in advance just in case to do like another DOC run.
Mhm.
And the intention was for him to be a actually serious character, and that reflects upon the first initial choice for LSPD. Um, uh, being serious is only fun when it's time to be serious. Being serious all the time is not fun.
I mean, for
And
some
that is
people,
why,
right? For some people, it's
and that is why I eventually shifted over to SDSO.
Yeah, what's your opinion on the SDSO culture? Because you spend a lot of time with those guys, so
Good, it's good. It's small is better. Having a lot of people is it's okay, but small is better. And coming from DOC, it it's it's like home. Having a smaller group to be around. Being around a ton of people with different personalities isn't all the best. The thing I noticed with Holden was at the time when I wanted to shift, the face of LSPD was like Suarez and uh all the other ones who are like you know uh cargo fast oriented, and I was like, it's not really for me. And then
excuse me, Alexander Suarez is a deep and emotional character with incredible traits, and I personally take offense to you saying that he's just a guy that drives fast.
I'm not saying he's just a guy who drives car fast, but I'm saying that the LSPD is a cargo like I know the characters have like
I take
intricate
offense to your sarcasm.
the characters have good backgrounds.
Suarez is a fine character.
What I'm saying is
No, he
that,
actually is though, for real.
the cargo fast stuff, it's never been an interest for me. And I was using an example of like that's the LSPD, right? The LSPD wants to be the big patrol. They're heavy on patrol, heavy on driving the cars fast, and heavy on going after like the banks boosts and
So they want to like be cops, right? What you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
my style is I'll be a 77. I'll do some pings, but I like to have intermission parts
Uh-huh.
where I'm focusing on other things
Like what?
other like 911s and other random fucking like burger shot shit.
Really, I
If
think
you know what I'm
it comes down to personal preference. I don't think there's like a departmental feel for any of them. I haven't been able to suss out like it's a boost. That means LSPD's going, because a lot of people from CPD and they go, we've got our very own boost beard. I mean, how many boost beards do you have?
Well, that's every department except SDSO. SDSO has like 2 SRU unit drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I will do the
You
backup
guys got
when needed.
Preston. No, Preston and
Preston
Bones.
with DPD.
Bones is so
they go for
funny,
it.
dude. You guys doing the time trials was so good. You and Bones,
He was fun to do
it
it
was
with.
so good. I
like
think
Jake.
I
He's a
watched
good
that stream
guy.
for like 4 hours straight, which is way longer.
Not a
than
very good driver, but he's a good guy.
All right, I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about old John Hydra and what I've done and where I've been. So I'd started playing John as more like, I was like, okay, I really need to focus up and get on some RoboCop shit and start really just focusing on like making sure I'm like really following the SOPs, getting like 15, 20 arrests a day or ticket writings a day, like minimum, and really like leaning into it and like start escalating and like really showing people I know like the SOPs. And it kind of sucks because it was happening during like a shitty time of the year for me, and so I was kind of like half like serious role play and then half like emotional wreck like OOC. And so I didn't do a great job of like modulating my out of character attitude for my in character shit. So I ended up like being kind of a prick to some people, which, happens. And usually on John I can make it work, but I was just not. People could tell like something was off, right? So, but I was doing that and I was like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna not even like talk to people about anything unless it's like cop stuff. So at one point, Carmine calls Hydra. Here, you tell it, Carmine, because you tell it really good.
Oh, I called him and cause I think you left the scene because you asked something about a barrier. Stubble
Mhm.
was there, Boosebeard was there, the whole squad. It was down by the Rust compound, and you asked something about the barriers. I wasn't listening, and then you got snippy with Stubble, and then you said I'm leaving. You left. Then I called you, and I'm like, "Hey, you okay?" And this motherfucker says, "Why you calling me? Is this about work? If it's not about work, I ain't got time to talk." And he hangs up the phone. It's pretty funny.
And I did that to a lot of people. Like people will come to talk and they'd be like, "Hey, like what's going on?" I was like, "Is this about police work or the police department?" And they'd be like, "No, I just want to chat." I'd be like, "Okay, please don't call me. I'm working right now. If it's not about work, please don't talk to me." So I was like on some real robo. I was giving people like, "You've got 20 seconds to comply." People I normally do like SBS with, like Blade was on Leo and he like rammed into Hydra like as a joke, and I fucking took him in for assaulting a police officer and a bunch of other shit. And he was like,
there was one time.
He was like, "What the fuck, man? Why are you mad at me?"
I think there was one time I was trying to dunk Carmine's head in the toilet, and Hydra was like, "What the fuck are you doing? We're in a police station. Nobody doing this shit."
Yeah, that was that day. That was the same day.
That
I
was
think.
the same day. Yeah.
I was like, why do you think it's okay to take an officer and put their head into, like, why do you think that's okay here? And everybody was like, what is happening right now? And then Carmine was like, that's my guy right there.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like Robo. I don't know what it is with people who play like asshole characters that draws me to them. Like guys like Suarez when he's in his W cop mode, or John Cop, or John Doe.
Because they
Jesus, so
trust
many-
you
John Hydra.
because you're fun to
That name John.
John, it's
I think
John,
it's
Stinny
his name.
Johns, John Suarez, John Moosebeard. The name's
Good old
John
Moosebeard.
John Moosebeard. That's my next cop fight to
Speaking
reroll.
of-
It's gonna be John Moosebeard.
Speaking of
I'll
being an
report
asshole,
you.
Do it, pussy.
there's a lot of characters that like I will give a lot of shit IC to, and I'm like, I fucking hate this person, but I do it because I really like them, and one of them is Carmine.
Yeah.
Hey.
I kind of
Nobody likes
hope
that
he
guy.
ends up
Don't kid yourself.
taking Roy's suggestion of transferring and being the Hornet's Nest.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I'll ever say I like the people in the SDSO, but I feel like the SDSO it's got so many good role players that it's like oversaturated with good
Yeah.
role players.
There are a lot of very funny people. It's like too much competition for you.
Eat too much. So I'm
Which
gonna
is smart
join-
from like if your viewer retention, you want people to watch you, and if people like watching DPD, they're gonna gravitate towards you if they want to see like a goofball do some goofy shit.
Yeah. And I feel like the consequences if I get in trouble in the SDSO, it might be brushed off as, hey, it's an SDSO thing, you know?
Yeah, you like
Like a
consequences.
blanket term. I want it to be, hey, it's Carmine fucking up again.
Yeah.
And the DPD, like a lot of the people in the DPD are.
I don't see Carmine fitting
The
in the
thing-
SDSO. The culture doesn't seem right. They're,
No. I'm gonna be honest. I could see Carmine.
you need to be in the
fitting
most, like the second most serious team always, right? Never the most serious because you'll just get fired, but the second most serious, right?
You know what's crazy about that? Back when Harvey was in the LSPD, when the LSPD was 1, when I joined, I feel like that was the peak of LSPD seriousness. There was an
Mhm.
entire cultural debate on whether this department should be serious or loose. There's issues with Suarez being super strict and people complaining about it, and everybody saying LSPD were nothing but droids going around ping chasing, getting arrests. And
I do
I
those
joined.
cop do cop things, fuckers.
Yeah, I joined at the tail end of that,
Mm-hmm.
and just Tinker joined before me, and I feel like Tinker took a lot of the brunt, and I joined after. And I don't know, I got lucky timing, man. I got really lucky. If I
Mhm.
joined like a month earlier, I probably would have been fired.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, so I'd been doing that for a couple days, and then kind of like Nesk was saying earlier, when you were saying like that all that bad stuff happened when you just randomly decided to get on your lunch break with Crawford. I'm never getting on stream outside of my stream schedule again. Never again. Dude, every time I've done that, I feel like something bad has happened.
Yeah, it's mainly because the different shifts are very different from each
yeah,
other.
a lot. So
And stuff that flies in shift 2 will not fly in shift 1.
I don't think I quite realized how big of a difference the culture is between like 9 a.m. or sorry, like 8 a.m. versus like 1 p.m. or like 12, like 11:30 p.m. Right? Huge difference between 8 a.m. and so like shift like middle like to close to the end of shift 1 to 12 p.m., which is like the beginning of shift 2. Dude,
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
So I'm on John Hydra, and I see a 1060 car, and it's got like 4 people in it, and I say, hey, I'm following these guys. They've parked here. I'm waiting on this cross street. Can I get some 77s? Can I get 2 77s so we can perform a stop? So I'm waiting. They're there. They know I'm there, but they're not sure if I'm there for them. And then is Wolfwell play Candace? Is that who it is?
Yes.
Candace DeFit.
Yeah, so Candace rolls up. And she has lights and like lights. She rolls up with lights and sirens, or just lights. And I'm like, yo, kill your lights. And then they see her lights, and then they just leave. Right? They run away. They like change cars, get into like 2 different Lambos or something, and drive away. So then, Han Velsing then shows up also, and we're like, hey, we're code 4. And he's like, where is everybody? And I was like, no, it's cool. I called him, we're code 4 because, and then I make a joke. It's like a little joke. I go, yeah, we're code 4 because somebody decided to show up with their lights and sirens on and spook these guys away. And that's it. Like all I said, just like that. You can VOD review me. And Candace loses her fucking mind. She's like, I don't even want to like say it because I'm gonna say it wrong, but she's basically like starts calling me like, well, you should have like called it in better. And then I was like, well, the SOPs, clearly dictate, because I was on the RoboCop arc. I was like, well, clearly the way that we're trained to do this is to not stop a 1060 vehicle until you have 2 other officers. If you need me to like describe the SOPs in the call out next time, I can do that for you. Right? Kind of being like snarky and like literal, but not yet like getting into like an actual cat fight, right? And then she calls John Hydra. She's like, well, maybe that's why you're a never promoted, go nowhere, nothing worthless cadet. Something like that, right?
God.
Something like that. I might be saying it a little wrong, but. And dude, I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. All right, since you're the higher officer here, if you need me to hold your hand for the next time I call for a traffic stop, I can do that. Okay, is that what you want? And then it kind of devolved from there. Never like any like, it was just like very sort of like office like arguing, right?
Yeah.
And because John was trying to keep it, and then so I immediately get 25'd, right? And I'm talking to Velsing, and I'm like, I was like, fine, just from now on, I'll just, I'll be sure to call out more specifically. I'm code 1 right now. Can you like come in code 1? And he's like, yeah, that'll probably work. And then I go to 301, and because I don't know her number, so I say her number, like, hey, can we 25? Because I wanted to talk about it to like show like, hey, like, yeah, we had an argument, but like, let's both move past this. And then immediately I get a 25 in the captain's office, and I'm like, so I go to the captain's office, and there's like 6 people there, and we're talking, and I kind of explain what happened, and I'm still pretty pissed, and this is like a fun opportunity for me to like air some grievances, right? They're talking. We kind of like work it out. They're like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? He's like, look, I admit it. I apologize. He apologized profusely to everybody. Kind of like made it clear, like, I realized that I messed up. I realized that obviously if you guys want to give me strike points, I fully accept them. I take them, I'll do better moving forward. And then Anita starts going like, are you happy here, John? Like, do you want to be here? And John was like, yeah, of course I want to be here. I love the CPD. I love Kyle Pred. Like, I would never leave. I've gotten offers from other departments, but I didn't take them because I want to be here. This is where I want to be. And then the role play sort of like changed a little bit, where she was like, if you could be at another department, would you go? And he's like, well, not unless I had to, but I really would like to be here. I love the CPD. It's what I'm loyal to. And then she kind of like in character kind of like is like fishing for permission to like like do some like department change role play. And then she was like, okay, well then I think that like there's a cultural, I think like we're not working, right? Something's not working. You're not happy. We're not happy. So I think what I'm going to do is suspend you indefinitely until we find you a pending department change. And John was like, if that's what you want to do, we can do that, right? I could have said like, can we please not do that? Like, can we just like have an actual punishment and then move forward? But I trust Kathy. I trust the character Anita May to, you know, follow through with stuff like that. And so I'm like, cool. I've got like, I'm excited. It's good role play. You know, I'm saying like, I appreciate the way people are like coming into my chat and saying like Wolfabell like got me fired. And I'm like, that's not what happened, you guys. That's not what happened at all. So everything's fine. It's cool. And then I go to bed and then I wake up the next day to a DM that says, hey, nobody in high command was cool with you being, and I'm not going to say who sent this, but it's like nobody in high command was cool with the decision that was made in that captain's meeting. So you're actually just fired. And then I go to log on and I have no whitelist for cop.
Ouch.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, I think what bothered me the most is that an in-character decision got like changed out of like with no role play on my part. And then like any of my ability to argue with it was just gone immediately. They just took their ball and went home. And I was like, okay.
I mean, the only difference is you don't have the whitelist. You could still continue the in-character role play.
Oh yeah, of course.
Suspended.
Yeah, I'm not. Yes, that's what I've been telling people is like, especially, okay, so I'll circle back a little bit before we go. So yeah, I'm not pissed or anything. It just felt kind of like, I was like, okay, this feels like a little, I understand why they do it because they don't want people like jumping on whitelist cop and having cop abilities and like going into, you know, places, which is fine. I don't really care about that. That's fine. It was just like really surprising. It was just like, whoa, this is like all happening so quick. I prefer my RP to come first before the consequences, I guess. Right. And that's
Can
just
I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something about that whole experience?
Sure.
I feel like the entire, like, you played a role of a character who was being an asshole to someone who was a high rank. The high rank person resorted to the options they had. One of them was to get you in the captain's office, and then a conversation led to you being suspended. I feel like that type of role play is, to a degree, it's good, it's change, but because of how the server is set up, it's not something anyone wants to happen to them just because of how grindy the server is, how clicky the server is, how hard it is to get into. Like, if you knew right now that you could make another cop and get that cop into the server, re-roll an entirely new character, you probably would have been fine with being fired. But because of all the walls put up and how hard it is to make things happen on the server, losing something because you role played, it makes it. I don't. It just makes the whole dichotomy. It makes it all weird, you know, like how you navigate it and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid of perma.
Yeah.
Even though I would love to, but I'm afraid to because I don't know if I'm gonna, you know.
You seem pretty willing. Every time you go down, you got that dice macro ready to go.
Got that perma dog in him.
So
perma dog.
He do.
Speaking of perma, I did something on John Hydra. I gave a gift to Diody's character Walker, and I gave him John's perma die. So now I power game force advantage on Diody for whenever Walker does a perma roll. He gets advantage whether he likes it or not, and I'm never allowed to perma roll again until I'm a senior officer. Once I'm a senior officer, I can perma roll again.
So the thing with me is with the especially with the looming talk of the hardcore server, I want to make sure that I have a character in PD when the transition happens, because I feel like if I perma and then I have to wait the whole month to make a new character, and there's no guarantee, especially with the SDSO. If I haven't been with them long,
yeah, are they gonna? Do we know what they're gonna do? Are they gonna just let anybody that's PD be cop, or are they gonna make people apply with new characters?
I have no idea. I would love to like. I would love to perma and have something impactful, but I'm also afraid of permaing at the wrong time and it's not impactful. So Crawford
Spaceboy a
perma,
long time ago, the first piece of advice he ever gave me was, we were doing some shit where I was trying to take over Prune Gang on an old guy in 2.0. And I asked Spaceboy, I was like, dude, I really am liking the conflict with Mel. And I love the idea of potentially permaing if like Mel does some like crazy over the top shit. But I'm also afraid of like losing like the character and the time I've put in. Like, do you think that the impact would be worth it? And he said, permaing is almost never worth it. The amount of like adrenaline and serotonin you get in the moment never adds up to the additional roleplay that comes after.
I agree with that.
I didn't even know what that meant. Well, I don't understand that.
So
In my head.
Go ahead.
My take on this is that when you perma a character, you're putting your trust in. This is so obvious, but you're putting your trust in everybody who's still alive, because you're dead and you can't do shit. So you kind of have to hope that they give you the justice that you want to see from your perma, right? So that they take your death serious enough, or they do the investigations, or they have like the knowledge that you hope that they have to be able to you do your character justice. I just don't know a better way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I
If
just
I-
something just go for it. Go for it. No
if I
worries.
perma Holden on New Year's when Mike Block shot him because Bobby Bolden paid him $50, nothing would have came from it because everyone treated it like, oh, we can't do anything about it because Bobby paid him, and then they just moved on from it.
What were you saying, 52?
Something while Trump was saying that, something crossed my mind. Imagine playing a self-insert, permering that self-insert, and because it's a self-insert, it's you, and then you watch everybody not give a shit. That would be so fucked up.
That's great. Yeah, when I permed Crim, I was willing to like let the Littlemans go. Oh, he's dead. Move on. Lots of Littlemans die. But you and Miles put so much like I got to see the Littlemans be emotional. Dude, it was awesome. It was sick. It felt really good. You guys really like
the
made
RP
me
on that's still going on.
Yeah,
too.
it's still happening. Dude, that's probably the best perma I've ever had on like a goofy Littleman character. That's
the thing is it's like a trust thing too. You have to rely on the people around you
Mhm.
to want to make roleplay from your death, right? And like if you're a nobody, I'm sorry, if you have nobody, if you have nobody and you perma and like your friends aren't there, or like your fellow or cops aren't there or something like that to make the role play from it, nothing's gonna come from it.
Yeah.
You're just gonna die, and then your story's done.
Robinson's perma was so good, and I will always say this. Just as a side note, I did it first. Jaeger didn't do it first. Robinson was the LSPD cadet. Even though he quit, he was the first. I killed the first LEO. It was me. Anyway.
Okay.
all right.
Anyway.
Big guy,
Anyway.
slow down.
Anyway, Robinson permaing, all the cops took it seriously. Even though he was just a quote nobody DOC, all the cops took it seriously, and it went on the docket, and I did what I could with it before I permaed Crawford. But yeah, his perma was really good.
Yeah, it's always nice when someone's perma like improves your story, but then you're like, shit, am I just using their death to like make my character more interesting?
But yeah, I am the first technical LEO perma in 3.0.
So I was gonna perma John Hydra. I was gonna do it. I was like, well, this sucks. I'm depressed. I'm not feeling good. And then I messaged Troms, and I was like, I think I'm over it, dude. And I don't remember exactly what you said, Troms, but you kind of said the same thing you always say, which is sort of in a roundabout way, like, dude, people love you. You're funny. Like, don't let you feeling bad right now be a permanent decision for later, right? Like, don't kill a character that you put so much time and love into and let that end because you're sad, right?
Let's do what I did. Do some crazy epilogue, but while also having another character with an application in.
So I decided, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna role play a little bit. I'm gonna role play John sort of like walking drunkenly through the woods in the snow with like no snow clothes on and just like drunkenly calling some people. And he called Carmine and he called Katya and then he basically ended up on some slippy ice out in the Alamo Sea. And a bunch of people tried to save him and he ended up going under. And I don't know how Carmine fucking found his stuff, but I ended up like drawing some scenes underwater before I drown and dropped all of Hydra's stuff and Moosebeard's hat. And like the last thing like John said was like, make sure you give Moosebeard this hat back. And
the wrong hat.
I remember
Working on
clocking on
what?
randomly and finding Carmen outside and going, it's like, they killed him, those CPD
no, it's not the
bastards
wrong
killed
hat.
him."
It's not the wrong hat. He did the thing you said where you got it dyed and flattened out.
Well, that's what I said too when Carmine gave it to him. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the hat. He did the thing that I told him to do.
I almost said, give this back to Moosebeard. Make sure he knows that I got it dyed and flattened out, but I got the receipt, so if he wants to get it undone, he can.
Yeah.
And then I didn't play for a couple days. And I was like, and I never said I perma'd, right? But it was really sad, and I watched 52's point of view, and he was actually pretty emotional on his stream. Like, he played Carmine, like, getting drunk and, like, fucked up, and I watched Katya, and, dude, it was a really emotional day. What's up, 52?
I wanted to say I hate doing emotional roleplay.
Dude, you do it so, when you do it, though, you do it so fucking good.
Yeah.
You're so good at it. But I think the fact that you do it so little makes it more impactful, right?
Yeah, I like. I don't know. I don't like. I did it because it was you. First of all,
My man.
I'll be honest. If I did it because it was you, but I don't like getting too deep into character.
Yeah, you do it a little bit and then you move on.
Player.
That's why you're such a good fucking role player, is because you don't make like one thing your whole character trait. You're able to just move on. That's why you're a great cop too.
Yeah,
So I don't get on
but
for a couple days, and I'm like, am I gonna perm? Am I gonna make this? And it wouldn't have been like me gets on, me does OOCL perm or OCG perma, but it would just be like he's gone. Because sometimes people die and you don't get any closure, right? Sometimes people die and you have to wonder if they're still out there.
Sometimes people die when you kill them.
Don't you know people die when they are killed? And so I wait a couple days, and I get on like Diodi stream or something, and him and Koch are like out in the Alamo Sea, like looking for the corpse still. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like, people like actually care about my fucking character. Like Troms is right. And I know this objectively, but when you're depressed and sad and you're not thinking right, it's hard to like let nice things happen and hard to see good. So I decide, fuck it. I'm gonna do something weird, right? I'm gonna try my hardest. I role played my way into this, and a decision kind of got made without my input. So if I I'm gonna see if I can roleplay myself out of it. And so if you guys remember, 2-3 months ago now. Yeah, roleplay. 2-3 months ago, John Hydra was, I like woke up in the ICU, but I was like in the ocean for some reason. So I was like, and I didn't want to like phone it in because it was weird. So I started swimming and I ended up getting to the yacht. And I was like, fuck it. Like, this is far enough. I've been swimming for long enough. So I make a bunch of scenes, like blood everywhere, the stolen equipment, like, and I even did it like second piece of stolen equipment from from Viceroy. And there was blood everywhere, like weird footprints, weird like size 11 like dress shoes and bloodstains or something like that. And they get John and they leave. But John was like brain dead, and I was like face looks like bloody, like face like bleeding all over, like scalpel incision, stuff like that. And I didn't have any plans for it. I just did it just because I'm weird and I just felt like role playing something weird happening. So I'm like, fuck it. That was when John got kidnapped by this like crazy Dr. Death guy. and he's been in an underground lab this whole time. So all the weird shit, all like
Holy
the body,
shit, Dr. Death.
the body switching role play, all the everything hasn't been Hydra. It's been a doppelganger. And I think I role played it out pretty good. And they found, like, Mickey found John Hydra. Dude, Mickey did some of the coldest shit. I need to go find the clip. I'll do it later. Basically, John Hydra is in humane labs on a ventilator, like on life support. His face is cut off. The skin on his hands is removed. He has a huge incision on his throat from where his vocal cords were removed. And Mickey is the one that Dr. Death basically calls Mickey and goes, "Hey, remember how you got your face cut off? That was just the first part of my plan. Do you remember John Hydra, who was trying to impeach you with that charge that's still active, that they still have like 40 days to move forward on?" Mickey was like, "Yeah." Dr. Death was like, "Well, I've got great news for you, but you're going to owe me later." He goes, "Okay, what?" He goes, "Go to Humane Labs and look in one of the storage facilities, and there everything will be made clear. Once you find the truth, you'll know that John Hydra was not the person that charged you, so those charges can't go through." Mickey goes, "Okay." Mickey walks in to Humane Labs, sees John Hydra all fucked up, bloody, clearly like emaciated, like he hasn't moved for 2 months. And this motherfucker like thinks about it for a long time, walks up, pulls the plug on the fucking life support and walks out. Yeah. And I'm like, this cold motherfucker, this cold son of a bitch. And I'm like, fuck it, dude. And then, of course, as he's leaving, I'm like, okay, wait, I'm gonna give him one more chance because I don't want to die like this. So I OOCL. You hear a backup generator battery come on, and it starts a timer for 15 minutes or something. I was like, beep beep, timer 15 minutes. So he ends up coming back, and he's like, oh, fuck. I try to take this battery out, and then he starts hearing sirens in the distance. Because he's not the only person that Dr. Death called. So he hears sirens in the distance, and he's like, ah, fuck. So he like rips John Hydra out of the life support and starts carrying him outside to like take to his helicopter to fly him to the medical. As he's carrying John Hydra's almost corpse, Winston Walker and another cop come around the corner, guns pointed, hands right now. So it turns into this whole thing, and it was super cool. So now I've got a bunch of role play going on. People are learning that John Hydra was, kidnapped, that it wasn't him they were interacting with. He's got role play with Mickey because now he's gonna try to like be like a Mickey stan instead of like a like a Pred stan a little bit, but not quite to the extent. And it'll be interesting. I've been role playing him like I've actually been slow burning him role playing, like recovering. So it took him like 6 or 7 days to like get his hands fixed, and then a couple more days to get facial surgery. And he's just like finally after like 14 days, he's actually out of the hospital and walking around. He actually went and did PD toe the other day. But yeah, so he's slowly like telling people. Fred was like, "Hey, that means you weren't fired. Just saying, One of the things Pred said, he was like, "I'm sorry, Hydra." Before he knew that it wasn't Hydra that got fired, he was like, "Everybody in High Command hates you but me. I'm sorry." I should go back and make that a sub-alert. It's actually so funny.
Looks like you're making a path back to getting Hydra and PD.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm going to go back. If they offer it, I'll obviously go back to CPD. But I think if I have the choice, I'll not go to CPD. I think roleplay wise, I think it'll be more interesting to go somewhere else. But yeah, so obviously I'll take the first offer I get, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually excited to roleplay. I've got another idea that I'm pushing on John right now too, because I'm kind of roleplaying him like I'm too weak to be a cop right now. Like I'm still recovering. Like I can't do a lot of physical stuff. So he did a bunch of roleplay the other day, trying to potentially be a judge. That might be interesting. Judge Hydra.
Oh, please preside over my cases and just give me W's. Please.
I've been debating
$2 million in contempt or 6 years. Your choice.
I've been debating making Scott Bolderman a judge, but I kind of want to do DOC prison doctor with him, but I just need the DOC to get back to me.
Just like your dad.
Yeah,
God damn.
but if it doesn't happen, I might just run for judge before that deadline ends.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear a whole court case? I'm the guy who sounds like this.
Nope, sure don't. Do you guys anything else anybody wants to talk about? How Trom's, how I know you've been sick. Oh, go ahead, 52. What do you got?
Oh, it's a question directed at Tromster.
Oh, okay, let's get it.
Man.
What's good?
I've noticed. I mean, you've been on a break because you've had like 3 different celebratory moments in the last week.
It's true.
My
Every
man's
year
partying
that
hard.
happens.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Every day's supposed to be special. How does it feel? New
Dude, number
Year's,
6.
Christmas, and your birthday, all in 1 week. Does it make New Year's feel
I bet it
less
fucking
important?
sucks. I bet it sucks.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, New Year's is just another day. Well, I always end up partying on the 30th too, and so New Year's just ends up being a day.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you. I've noticed. I pay attention to you. You haven't been playing your cop recently.
He actually DMs me. He DMs me every day with how many hours you streamed.
I think that's just a coincidence. With just the holidays and everything, it's just how it worked out. I do put like effort into making sure I'm there for the Littleman stuff though, because that's like someone else relies on me, right, for being there for that.
It wouldn't be as
And
fun
so-
for Miles. I don't. He really. No, I'm not saying Miles couldn't roleplay a Littleman by himself. Obviously, because he's a very good
he'd be
role
fine.
player. He'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I think that you guys rely on each other quite a bit to make really great roleplay. It's
Yeah.
Littleman magic, not little man magic, right?
Yeah, it's just a scheduled thing that we got going on too. So I try to be there for that. It's just a coincidence. It's actually been nice because I feel like I hit like stagnant points with Moosebeard a lot, where it's just like it gets exciting for a while and then it kind of dies down and then it gets exciting again, and it's just one of those things. I think it's a cop thing, to be honest. Just goes back and forth occasionally.
Yeah.
It's been good though. I feel like Moosebeard's in a good spot right now. Pred is constantly he's been joking with me because I've been like poking the dragon looking for a promotion. He's constantly calling me his future sergeant, and I joke with him and I go, okay, all right, Brad, let's try to stay realistic here, buddy.
You've been poking that dragon since I had Crawford. I remember back in the day, you were like, "Oh, I'm still a senior deputy." Still.
Well, yeah, because it's been interesting to watch like people who are hired the same time as me just move up, fly up. But I also think it's because like people think Moosebeard is just like a joke character, right? Like he like just does nothing but SBS. Where I don't think they realize that like he's like a really good chameleon, you know, fits in kind of wherever he's needed, and like assesses the situation and uses the appropriate level of response, right? Like really stupid stuff with the Cubans, like he's not going to go as hard as he can, but then he can get in an S+ car and go after a street race and like get the job done. So I think it's one of those things where like unless somebody specifically says, oh, this person's doing great, they're only ever gonna see like the bad or the stuff that they like deem to be not good. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah,
honestly at this point I don't really care about promotions simply because it doesn't matter what rank you are. You can, as long as you have that presence and you say like, if you act like you're command or you act like you have that rank, people are gonna treat you like that. No matter what your rank is, you could be a fucking cadet, but if you're telling people what to do and you're confident about it and you're saying like, I know what needs to be done here, then people are going to take you seriously. And so that's why I'm not too concerned about like ranks for Moosebeard, but it's like a character thing where, I mean, he was a captain, right? Like he moved up. He was the most trusted crew member on a crew that he entered when he was really young, right? Like he was taken under the wing of a better captain than him
Mhm.
And so for him to get like handed those reins off and be captain for as long as he was, it was like 15 years or something like that. I can't remember what my lore is. 18 years, I think, how long he's a captain.
I want to. You mentioned like taking command of scenes. I do not have that dog in me, man. I can't.
You got that dog.
Yeah, I can talk shit, but I can't command. I can't do it. I don't think I've ever taken command of like a scene.
Stuff.
Usually, I get too caught up in like conversations, so I forget to be a cop.
We have a lot of
And
cooks in the kitchen too. We have a lot of people who are ready and like willing to lead a scene. You know, Stubble, anytime he's there. I mean, even if he speaks on radio, sometimes Knight will just be like, "Oh, Stubble, you're leading this scene, right?" And he's like, "Ugh, I mean, I'm just kind of here, but yeah, I guess so." We got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Like, even if you are leading a scene, occasionally people will start calling out and be like, "Do this, do that, do this, do that," right? So, like, I get it, it's not for everybody, and it's also not like something that can be done on every scene. But my rule of thumb is like, if you were primary, if it is your scene, you keep that the whole time and just roll with it. Don't let like a higher command or something like that come on scene and take it from you. Just
It happened to John once. You were on the scene actually, Moosebeard or Troms. Moosebeard was there. And it was something in like the BSK neighborhood, and I don't remember who, like Pred or it might have been Bass left, and he's like, "John, this is your scene now." So I had a really high vantage point, so I could kind of see everything, so I could tell people where to go and what to do. So I was calling it out, making really good calls. Everybody seemed really happy with it. And then I guess another thing happened, and I said, you and you, like these two officers that are like overlapping kind of, you guys break off and go to that. And Toretti really wanted to go to the thing. So he's like, actually, you two stay. Me and so-and-so are going to go here. You do this, John, you go to this. And then I said, "Sir, this is my scene." And he said, "Not anymore." And I went, "Okay."
yeah. I mean, in cases like that, you gotta hand it over. You have no choice. But yeah, I don't know. It's for me. It's just one of those things. It's like you don't need a promotion to like actually do your job and do it like well and make people confident in your skills.
You know what I've noticed? Like the quickest way to get promoted, from what I've seen,
strike points.
Yes,
and clearly worked for you. Oh no, I was get strike points.
Strike points or ruffle feathers. Like just cause some type of problem, or
but not too big of a
shit
problem.
on someone,
or just be a problem, and then they'll give you full officer without a
I'm not talking about.
But you have to be a funny problem, because if you're not a funny problem, and even if you've only ever been officially reprimanded once, sometimes you just get fired without anybody telling you.
Okay. What I meant by promoted, I'm not talking about my character. Okay, I'm talking about like officer and upwards, like officer, senior, corporal. What comes after corporal? I don't even. Sergeant.
Corporal, sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, getting those ranks, you have to either shit on people below you, or shit on criminals, like. The shitting on criminals though could backfire. You could
just put it in sub only mode. Just put it in sub only mode.
Yeah, and then, but those or be there for a really long time. Be like on the server for a really long time.
It's not always true. Dan just got sergeant, and he was only like just promoted to corporal a few months before that. He'd been a cop since late 2.0.
Yep. So let's talk about hardcore for a little bit before we wrap it up. People are talking like it's right around the corner.
You want to be hardcore. You got to live hardcore.
You know, Charlotte's not allowed to play on the hardcore server, right?
Who?
Charlotte?
Charlotte? Like 20 of them.
Charlotte in the CPD cadet. Because she's only halfway hardcore.
Oh. Okay.
How long did you save that?
I've been holding on to that one for a while. I've been holding on to that one for a while.
Nice one.
For like 6 days, basically. It's, I think on hardcore, I think I want to play like a very serious, very secretive assassin, because I think that might be a type of environment where that might actually be impactful, where you try really hard to cover your tracks, where you You know, you're not a serial killer that just logs out whenever after you get a kill. You actually stay around and like kind of in in plain sight. But then if people know the right passphrases and can like do the right things and get vetted, then they can pay you a sum of money to hurt somebody or end somebody's life.
Okay, so something to remember about hardcore as well is it's kind of not what the community thinks it is. It's not like a one life ICU sort of thing, right? Like it's obviously that kind of role play is encouraged, but what you should expect is more emphasis on role play over like game mechanics.
Yeah, hardcore roleplay, not hardcore game mechanics. The kind of people hear hardcore and they think one life, they think more challenging, they think, but really this is like less like SBS for content and more like very focused, serious roleplay.
Then they marketed.
I wouldn't even say like serious, but there's just, you know, it's whitelist with more rules.
Serious
rules.
About being roleplay rather than not like serious roleplay, but serious about the roleplay. That's a good call. Yeah, make sure people know that
it's the anti-Fingal Dan server.
Yeah, no Fingals, no Carmines.
No, what do you mean no Carmines? I can adapt.
Carmine would
I
fit
can
in.
adapt.
I can change.
I would be perfect for it.
It's so good.
Believe it or not, I actually actively try to avoid SBS. Okay, I actively because once
Dude, you
right
are
now
what you eat, man.
Yeah.
Carmine isn't SPS. He just has a small brain.
No.
That's
what the hell?
That's what
My
SBS
character's
is.
as smart as
He's
I
a
am.
fucking gigabrain.
You know what SBS
My
is?
character's as smart as
Small
I
brain
am.
syndrome. No, but like, so it's like Carmine's. I don't think he's like I've never heard Carmine say anything that's like Fingal Danish. I think he just like, you know, the character's just a dumb fuck, and I think that fits perfectly with hardcore.
Okay, so I feel like hardcore wise, I'm pretty hardcore. When it comes to being hardcore, I feel like I've got the quota for being hardcore. And
Dude, you know you're hardcore when you say it. I'm pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
I'd probably just
hard
make
in
another.
the core.
I think I'll just make another DOC for hardcore. I
You
think that'd
love
be
DOC.
interesting.
Why do you love DOC so much?
It's, you know, all I'm saying is,
one thing I do want to
two
say
of the
about
wardens went back to DOC. There's a reason for it.
one thing I do want to say about hardcore as well is there's a lot of rumors flying around, and don't believe everything that you hear.
Yeah,
like don't buy into something that gets said unless it's said from an official source, because there's a lot of weird information going around, and I would just ignore that.
I've got a thought about hardcore.
Is Coil an official source? Coil, is he an official?
Coil would be an official source.
So here's the thing. I don't know if I have time to play on hardcore and regular whitelist.
You're gonna play on regular?
Yeah.
You crazy?
Yeah.
I'm only gonna play on hardcore.
Have you seen me roleplay? I can't not SBS every now and then.
You can't. No. You can't.
I have Tourette's syndrome. I have impulse control disorder.
No, it comes down to your surroundings. Environment plays a huge role with how people roleplay. I promise you that. Because the way I used to roleplay on Wild West RP and the way you used to roleplay on Wild West RP, day and night compared to now. Day and night. Now everything I do is episodic. It's short term, small form content. Like Nopixel is like TikTok in the streaming world. In my opinion, when it comes to roleplay, it's like TikTok. You start something and you finish something. The best example I can think of is the Littlemans. The Littlemans wake up, do the craziest shit. Like the craziest shit. And then they call it a day. Then they come back the next day, they do crazy shit again. And that type of shit is right now it's perfect for where the server is.
Oh
and
yeah.
it involves a lot of people and it's interesting. It makes it feel alive, but it's usually like SBS heavy. But if in the hardcore server, I feel like shit's just gonna be dragged out longer. So I'm curious to see how people like Chief OOC 177 plays it out. That was a joke. I'm not. I like Fingal. I like actually fuck Fingal. Anyway, I'm just curious
It's
to see
okay.
how
John went off on him today.
John Cobb.
John the broski.
Oh shit.
Oh no, what
Because
happened?
that
Oh yeah, I
clip.
heard Divine was back.
Oh
it a
yeah, yeah,
meeting?
yeah.
Oh God. Oh no.
Oh hey, Walnut,
Hello.
how's it going?
Was that shit you're talking, Nesk? Nesk,
Was
what
it-
were you saying about Walnut earlier?
Oh my god, it's Business X.
I said that I hate Walnut cast without any context.
What the fuck? Why?
Dude, he wasn't even here to defend it. That's
How
not
about
even
you? How
all he
about you give
said
us the
either.
context now?
Yeah, give
How
us the
about you give us
context.
context now?
There was no context. I just said it. I said, "You want a snippet for the show? I hate Walnut cast," and then just left it at that.
Oh, now you're trying to make it for the show? Really? Really? That's your
Yeah,
defense?
So,
Hey, listen, have you seen this guy's sub count? You think we're gonna defend you over him?
yeah, I'll take on a big streamer. What are you gonna do,
Walnut,
Walnut? What are
you
you
hear
gonna
what
do?
we're dealing with, Walnut? This man's on his 6th
Right.
Mountain Dew.
Not even a big streamer. Not even a
Bigger
big
than me. I'm
Yeah,
a
but-
once a month Andy.
I didn't even
No,
make small streamer.
It's
Top
okay.
5.
It's okay. Don't. It's all right. Just move
Man,
on.
who
I
could have
didn't even-
stolen Small Streamer of the Year from you?
I gotta say, Walnut though, the breakup thing over Channel 2 was one of the best fucking moments of the month.
The breakup thing over channel 2.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, Rick and Kate breaking up over Channel 2 and then got moved to Channel 9.
Oh, the whole meltdown. The
The
whole
meltdown with there's only 5 paintings in the fucking thing.
the brick drama. Yeah, you know, I yelled that he power gamed me on channel 2. It's only a matter of
man.
time before I'm gone from the server for all
We were
the.
just talking about hardcore too.
Yeah. I can't wait for hardcore. For then I'll have to try again.
Yeah, you'll have to bring back Tandy with arms and legs this time.
With arms and
No.
legs.
And
You got
slowly
plans for
degrades.
hardcore?
I'm bringing in Brick with no arms and legs.
Nice.
That's smart.
We'll call him Brick
Yeah.
Miller.
Just brick.
Miller, baby. No, I don't fucking know. I have no plans for it. But either way, this is Nesk's podcast.
The first time I ever saw Brick, I was on Crawford. I was the warden or the deputy warden. All the DOJ was coming up because they thought the DOC was on one and they were going to come up and arrest us because we put someone in AdSec for a 5150 hold, which was kind of taken out of context. And I see this fucking shriveled head behind me with in a
It's
with a
shriveled. He looks
bun
like
in-
Brad Pitt. What are you saying?
and I was like,
Brad Pitt.
who the fuck is this ugly cop?
Oh my god.
Dude.
What the hell, dude? He
The
looks like
first
Brad
time-
Pitt.
The first time I saw Brick's character, I got gaslit into thinking he looked okay. I brought it up. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is hideous." And everyone's like, "No, he looks fine. What are you talking? He looks fine." I was like, "Okay, maybe my fucking shaders are scuffed."
Yeah, that's right, bitch.
Hey, Brick, we were.
First time I saw Brick was the Ingvar clip. You look like a lemon.
You look like a
like a lemon. It's so good. Actually, while you're here, Walnut,
Sure.
what do you think about the whole John Hydra kidnapped for 2 months underground roleplay backpedaling that I'm doing, trying to get back into being a cop?
What?
What?
Yeah, that's a pretty good response to it all, actually. I think
It's
that
actually
sums
fair,
up
yeah,
most
it's
people's thoughts on it.
Kidnapped for 2 months underground by whomst?
Dr. Death?
Who the fuck is Dr. Death?
That's a great question. You guys should find him. You're cops, right? Get out there.
Oh,
I
God.
don't do that kind of police work.
Yeah,
And
Rick is
Walnut
Rick
doesn't do any police work.
So long story short,
No, he
Walnut,
does, he
long story
does.
short,
Oh, that's right. He goes demon mode.
true. Yeah, well, long story short,
10-3s you
John
on the
Hydra
radio
was
every time.
John Hydra agreed to be suspended pending transfer.
Mhm.
And then the next day I got a message saying, actually, you're just fired and I had no police whitelist anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Cool,
normal.
Cool.
So then I almost perma'd and then Tromps talked me out of permaing. And
I
then
just called him stupid.
he did. He basically called me a dumb idiot. And I was like, you're right,
Said
father.
you're being an overreactor.
Which was true. I was emotional. So then I was like, okay, I'll just role play that 2 months ago when I was kidnapped out of ICU, it was actually somebody stole my face and the skin on my hands and my vocal cords and was pretending to be me for nefarious purposes that will be made clear later. And so they found John Hydra in Humane Labs with no hand skin or face skin and emaciated like he's been unconscious for 2 months on life support. And then there's actual medical evidence from the doctors that the DNA from the person who's been in John Hydra's place for the last 2 months wasn't John Hydra. And now I'm recovering, and I got facial reconstructive surgery. And John Hydra's, slowly gaining his strength back.
When did you start acting out as a cop?
About 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay, I was
10-3,
gonna say
10-3,
you could
10-3,
maybe bring it back further
10-3.
than that.
10-3.
Oh, further back, yeah. So at the beginning, the very beginning, you guys don't even know John Hydra is. 1 week after he was hired. I could be a new person,
Yeah.
totally.
Exactly, yeah.
10-3.
Just go back to
10-3.
being pretending you were PD Toe.
Stop
Thinking,
10-3
man,
me right
I
now,
hope they
dude.
look at my application soon.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can hang out with Cherry, actually. That'd be cool.
I have been doing PD Toe. It's been
Yeah.
really fun. Yeah, I've been doing PD Toe, and dude, they're actually, honestly, the vibe is so good on PD Toe right now. They actually
Some of
hang
those
out.
guys are really good. They're gonna make good cops.
Yeah,
I've been really liking the current PD Toe roster.
I don't know any of their names. One is Serial Killer. The younger is Chungus. One of them's Carrot Top. And
I don't think I remember hiring Carrot Top.
I don't know who hired that guy. He's a prick, but I like him.
It's Ollivander. I know
Yeah,
it.
he plays a
I
really
hired
good
him.
like annoying person. Like,
I spent 3 minutes next to him and I said I was gonna hire him.
oh yeah,
So do you want to be PD
that
Toe? And
guy's
he
so
said
funny.
yes.
That was a great choice.
I have a
He
question.
didn't
for,
even have an
Walnut.
expungement yet, and I was like, "You're in."
I have a question for Walnut.
What is it?
Uh,
Go on. You can do it.
as,
question.
as the resident,
So now you ask the question.
Yeah, as the resident face of SDSO being the culture that doesn't do any police work, what's your opinion on Holden's mixing in with that as he does police work?
Kill him.
Perma, force perma.
I'll probably force perma at some point. No, I think it's just that in terms of the concept of like, oh, this department doesn't do any work. I think it's fucking dumb because it's a roleplay server.
Mhm.
Agree.
And it's like, who gives a shit if people don't work? Here's the thing, like, Fingal really fucked me up, dude. When I saw that clip that said it's not a real job, Claire, I was like, oh yeah, it's not. It's really not. And quite frankly, no one should give a fuck. I mean, if you want to roleplay as a cop, sure, but there's people who like OOC get mad that like Brick doesn't do work. And it's like, you guys are actually idiot babies. I think that it's nice to have cops that like who actually do work and stuff like that. Like on Brick, I like
No
to ride with
problem.
cops who do work because it offsets the balance of
Mhm.
Brick not doing shit. It forces me to do a little bit more work and it reins me in.
And you get to be in the report of real work, so it's like you're doing real work.
Yeah, that helps too, I guess. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like not being on a report for over like 35 days at one point, like I was.
I do tell people Brick does work, even though they don't believe me.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like when I was a solo cadet and stuff like that, there were times where I was like actually really good at it. Because like I am mechanically skilled. I played a lot of GTA. I played a lot of video games in general, so it's like I'm
This guy
fine.
played a lot of
like,
Call of Duty.
This guy's a shooter, huh?
I knew it.
Hey,
I
well,
knew it.
there is that.
He's got
clip of
all the
Brick taking
achievements and
down Chain
shredders.
Gang.
You play League at all, Walnut?
No, I'm an adult. I play Dota.
Ooh.
Dota, the true
That's-
version of self-harm.
Best Brick moment is walking into the prison with a nail gun and saying, "Hey, I'm coming out with my hands up," and getting fucking blasted.
Just immediately getting
God.
destroyed by like Mel and all them. Yeah.
And then that
Nailgun's not-
turned into the prison being
Yeah,
taken over
that
by
was
the
so
lifers
good.
for 3 days.
And that led to Mr. Time being the first lifer to get out, dude. I'm so proud of that guy.
Yeah.
That was
We had
basically
an
all-
all
OOC.
due to Brick.
We
Look
had
at
an
what,
OOC contract. I let him go. It's OOC mode. I could have fucked him over 101
is that
times,
who is
but I
that the
didn't do it.
anonymous 100 gift subs? Was that what that was?
Yeah, that's where that came from.
All right, boys.
Nice.
Well, now that Walnut has called Nesk out, and Nesk is like a coward, shriveled up like Brick's beautiful face.
No,
Tiny
I'm
nut
doubling
man.
down. I'm doubling down. Walnut's literally doesn't even do anything. All he does is exist.
I'm
He'll
a
come
reaction
on,
cop.
just from the meeting, and then he'll just go 42 pussy, and then he'll log on Tandy, and then not do anything because he didn't have any arms or legs.
I don't
Jealous.
think it's handy.
Tandy has
You wish you
probably
had no
killed
arms and
more
legs.
people than half the cops on the server.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. How do you snap people's necks with no arms and legs?
Snake
How
grip.
does that work?
Yeah,
Snake grip,
this is
that's
like
what
a
he calls
snake.
it.
Yep.
He basically just crawls up on them and contorts his body to
Does
kinda
that
get on
voice
their
hurt
neck.
you?
Dude, you have my permission
Nah, it's
to
just all
snake
set up.
grip, neck break my character anytime on Tandy, okay?
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, when I
Don't
snake
do
grip
it. He'll be in
both-
the ICU for a
No,
week.
I
He'll
gave
be
my
begging
ICU
the
die up.
doctor
I
to
can't
come out
ICU
with his
anymore.
ICU
I can't
dice.
ICU anymore. I'm over it. I'm never doing it
God.
again.
Oh, I
He's
do want to
gonna
make
lay
one
there on the
reveal though.
floor.
One reveal on the stream or this podcast.
Don't show us your penis.
No, not that. As much as I'm like afraid to perma, I do have a perma condition I will
What is it?
100% commit to.
Tell us.
What's the secret? What's the point of telling everyone? And then they're gonna make sure it happens.
Because
What
if
kind
you
of
don't, if you don't
reveal
tell
is it then?
if you don't tell us your perma condition, you could just lie about it when it happens. You have to
No,
say
I'm
it
gonna
so that people know.
I'm gonna like make that character and shit and show up and
Yeah, we'll make sure the little men
just
do it.
say it. Just say
Wouldn't
it.
be our
Ness.
first murder.
Just do one role play in your actual life and tell us your perma condition.
don't
You're
give in,
telling-
Nesk.
You're telling me
They're peer pressuring you.
you're telling
Just
me I
do
don't
it.
roleplay?
Don't give in.
What's your perma
Here it
condition?
is.
Don't
Here
tell.
it is. Here's the reveal because
Oh
none
my
of you guys
God.
can do it because you're not. You know, now you once you hear it, you'll understand. Crystal clear purposely causes Holden to get shot.
Done.
Dude, I
Done.
know
I can
her.
do it
That
today.
is-
I can make it
that
happen
is
today.
Yeah, I'm
easy.
You're
messaging
done.
her right now.
You're done. I'm
Oh,
I'm
no.
messaging clear right now. Crystal, where you at?
Dude,
That's too
honestly, I
easy.
think if she
She has
got
to be-
more Moosebeard X Bloom fan fictions, I think she'd do it.
She'd
I
have
think
to be
she'd do it for me.
She'd have to be the one to pull the trigger. It can't be like someone else doing it on her behalf. She'd
Nope.
be the one to do
Okay.
it.
You guys want to hear what my permit condition is?
Yeah.
You don't want
Is-
to
is
you
I
get
get-
fired.
Oh,
You
I
get
don't
blacklisted.
stream.
Yeah.
I don't stream or get fired. That's my permit condition. Right there.
You get blacklisted
well-
from PD on Carmine. You give it all.
My
up.
long term thing is once I'm done with like streaming and stuff like that, and I'm like I never want to go back to this again. I'm gonna fully with another person that consents with me about it. I'm gonna do a full on.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm gonna do the glob.
The glob. Is
Oh,
that the barbed wire?
It's
Piano
the 42
string
years of,
bungin.
it's the 42 years of stored up cum that
Oh,
Brick has in his
no.
Oh,
body.
you're just gonna come and die?
I'm gonna full ERP with Brick. I'm gonna full
To get
ERP,
fully banned.
fully act out the sex and everything like that. Moaning, flash me's, scenes put up around the fucking area of like come on the wall and just like straight up just get permaban. That's the entire
Oh,
goal.
that's so good. That's so
The
fucking
glob.
good.
That's-
the blob.
That's the perma condition.
Oh, that's amazing. All right,
Mm.
and with that beautiful information, Yespixel 23. Thanks NeskRP for the podcast. Thanks Walnut for stopping by to WWE with Nesk for a little bit. We'll see you
Don't
guys.
Get Crystal to perma me prematurely, please.
Please, somebody get
Of
Crystal
course,
to prematurely perma NeskRP.
I'm gonna perma Nesk in real life.
Oh.
God.
All right, boys. Thanks for the episode. Get on out there. You still got time to get in the server.
Do
Yespixel
I?
23.